So Nigel, you had a story to tell about a meeting with a reporter.
Oh right, okay. Let's go into that. Great. Yeah, I've been, since I've been volunteering, I've really had a delightful experience in going back home and just telling folks about my experiences. So what are my experiences? Well, I'm experiences as a worker, a volunteer, going into the Ravni tunnels, which is a labyrinth of underground tunnels which date back, we believe, about 10,000 or 12,000 years. And what we're actually doing there is cleaning them, or actually removing a filling of earth and sediment that seems to have been forced filled about 4,500 years ago by a culture or civilization, we don't know why. And also I've been helping the organization, the foundation here, actually with archaeological process of carefully removing the surface of some ancient concrete that is covering the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. So that's what I've been doing. So I talk about that. I was invited to go out to the 26th annual conference of the Ozarks in Arkansas, the state of Arkansas in the USA, by a wonderful lady called Dolores Cannon, who sadly has passed away recently. But I was invited to go out there to give a talk on my experiences here excavating and being involved with the volunteer project in the Bosnian Valley of Pyramids. So when I arrived at the airport, the driver said, "There's one more person to come along," so I waited, and it was Linda Moulton Howe, who is an exceptional investigative reporter. I would say probably one of the leading investigative reporters in the world today for all sorts of paranormal, psychic, UFO, all sorts, cover-up, concealments, everything like that. Absolutely amazing reporter. She digs into the information and finds it and presents it quite fearlessly. And so we were going along in the taxi, and then suddenly she said, "Well, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to give a talk on the Bosnian Pyramids." And suddenly the atmosphere in the taxi changed. And she looked at me and she says, "Well, I'm sure you're a very good person, but actually I just need to tell you right here and now that everything that is said about the Bosnian pyramids is a lie, it's a hoax. The discoverer, Dr. Sam Osmanagich, he's just trying to make money." And I said, "Well, I speak from my personal experience. I've been volunteering there for a number of years, and I'd very much like to tell the audience what I've found as an individual. I've got nothing to promote. I just wish to present my experiences and some photographs and maybe some tentative conclusions." And she says, "Well, I'm sorry, but my good friend, Dr. Robert Schock, who's one of the leading archaeologists in the world actually, and I believe that he may be the professor at Boston University, correct me if I'm wrong." And she said, "Well, he's been there, and he has told me very clearly that there are no pyramids in Bosnia. Everything is natural, can be explained by contemporary geology and archaeology, so the whole system there is a hoax, it's a big hoax, and also it's a cruel hoax against an unsuspecting Bosnian public." And I thought, well, yes, I'm sure that Dr. Schock has drawn his opinions, but may I please, I just want to present my experiences, because quite frankly, I've just had the most tremendous, wonderful experiences being involved with this archaeological project. And even though we don't have any conclusive results yet, I believe that we have something to tell the world. We should go through this process of uncovering what is hidden, revealing what has been hidden thousands of years, bring it to light, and then analyze it, discuss it, bring it into a forum. And Linda was quite adamant that actually there is no discussion. It is a fraud. End of story. There is nothing to be done here. There's nothing to see. She also said that we should really listen to Dr. Schock. He is a very, very eminent archaeologist. He has a lot of experience. He's world-renowned. He's well-researched. He's well-published. He has a Ph.D. So really, we need to listen to his opinion and his conclusions that this is a fraud, a hoax. And I said, well, I am listening. May I also point out that Dr. Sam Osmanagich, who is the principal investigator of the Bosnian pyramids, also has a Ph.D. He has 20 years of study in Mayan pyramids and Mayan archaeology. And then she said, well, actually, we believe that his claim to have a Ph.D. is suspect. Even that is suspect. And so I thought, well, wait a minute here. Please don't denigrate the man. We should listen, and we should bring this into public discussion. Now, the taxi ride was an hour and a quarter, and this discussion went on for the full taxi ride. So you imagine, at the end I thought, well, what can I do? There is no way that Linda and her friend Dr. Robert Schock is ever going to believe anything I would say as a lowly volunteer. But then I said, well, Linda, you know, as an investigative reporter, why not come to my talk? Why not come and investigate what I'm about to say? And she said, well, there's nothing there, so I don't know whether I'm going to be coming to your talk. So I said, oh well. Then the conference began, we arrived, it was an absolutely thrilling conference with many fantastic speakers, and my turn came. Now, although I've studied social psychology and sociology, I'm not an archaeologist, I'm just a volunteer joining the program, but I was able to put together a number of slides, about 100 slides, showing systematically, step by step, what we're doing in the volunteer program, and that would be discovering, perhaps finding an artifact like a ceramic sculpture just peeping out of a wall of rubble, and that would be photographed. Then we would remove the rubble, photograph again. We'd find some runic symbols, photograph that again. Very stage-oriented process that can be recorded and shown to the world at large that we are following a rigorous archaeological methodology. And of course, as well, I gave my own personal experiences, my own ideas, my own interpretations, which of course are subjective. But still there in the slides, in the presentation, there was that systematic disclosure, deeper and deeper into the findings. I finished after about 45 minutes. There was a lot of applause, and I didn't know it, but Linda had been listening. She'd been in the audience, and she came up to me and she said, Nigel, you knocked the ball out of the ballpark, which is an American phrase for you did well, or you exceeded my expectations. And she said, this is amazing. You know, what you have presented here is solid, it's logical, it's systematic, and it's revealing something that deserves world attention. And she said, I'm going to go back to Robert Schock and say he should visit Visoko again in Bosnia, because he came very, very early on at the very, very beginnings of the archaeological excavations. Revisit and see what is here. And that was the end of the conclusion. I haven't heard from her. I did hear her talk actually after mine, which was phenomenal. I think she's probably one of the world leading investigators. But I was very grateful indeed that she had she had the whereabouts to come and listen to the lecture and gave me the good, honest feedback that it's something. There is something going on here that needs our attention. I believe it's a very, very important project, and one in which I'm immensely grateful to be involved with.
Do you have any messages to the university professors out there?
Oh, I would say this has its problems. It's not a perfect archaeological dig in every way that's been organised meticulously according to archaeological practice right from the beginning. There were some mistakes made, but now we're catching up. We've got good archaeologists here, qualified archaeologists, and we are proceeding in a way that I think now any archaeologist who comes here, looks at the evidence, comes to our laboratory, looks at the artifacts, looks at the different multidisciplinary approaches that we're taking with sound recordings and so on, would find great interest.
Do you have any messages for just random people out there who happen on this video and wonder what the heck you're talking about Bosnian pyramids?
Yes. Well, I would say that prior to now, we thought that pyramids only occurred in Egypt and Mexico. Clearly, the reality is not that. There are thousands of pyramids all over the world, from China to Tibet to Alaska, even in Italy, and here in Bosnia. The pyramids in Bosnia, we believe, are some of the oldest and largest pyramids in the world. It's a fantastic country. Bosnia and Herzegovina has suffered terribly in the last 20 years with war, conflict, civil war and strife. Yet out of that, these wonderful, very loving, sweet people, the Bosnian people, are welcoming us to the heartland of their home, where we are working diligently to uncover ancient history which could change our understanding of the very foundation of humanity.
Nigel Grace from Sarajevo, Bosnia-Herzegovina, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.